Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Lunch Table Podcast. This is our first episode for Season 5.
Woo!
Yes. If you Jarls and Vikings are down, please like and comment what are your favorite moments from Vikings Valhalla Season 2. We definitely have a lot to say about this. It's pretty new for us. So, Dylan, without further ado, why don't you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, new year, new channel. Welcome everybody. Vikings Valhalla Season 2. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not like a huge like Nordic like period piece like kind of guy, but I do like the style of the show. It feels like a very like Game of Thrones kind of narrative. I think the production value is pretty good. I like the new locations that they had because like last season kind of felt like they were only using like 2 locations, like they were either like in the forest or like in a castle or something.
Yeah.
So I like the the very uses of different, because it's now the stakes have kind of like built up, so there's like more broader horizons that they're exploring across like Europe. But yeah, what did you think of season 2?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed season 1. I'm a long-term I just loved the old Viking show. I stuck around since 2013, and I think this was a pretty good successor. I mean, one of the charms from the Viking shows is how much they travel. It's kind of like the Walking Dead series in a way. It's like each character keeps traveling each season somewhere else, and so it kind of did the same thing here. There's its struggles too, and I like how at least in Vikings Valhalla, Christianity is more normal for, just Vikings. And even other Vikings will call other Vikings pagans and stuff like that. I think that's pretty funny. And it kind of started with Ragnar. I think that was and Ragnar's brother. So I think that was pretty sweet. But yeah, going back to this, I think the character that really shined to me was Freydis. She's a badass here. I really enjoyed her character a lot. And Leif has become like this very... I don't know. I'd say kind of like a nomad. And he's very wise. He looks like he's in his head a lot. And it kind of reminds me of Ragnar in some aspects, where Ragnar is very like, he's kind of like an animal sometimes, but Leif is very like cunning and just sticks to himself sometimes and holds his emotions. So yeah, so give me your thoughts on at least it's pretty short this season anyway compared to the old seasons of Vikings.
It feels we were talking earlier, it definitely feels a little more tame than last season.
Yeah,
I think personally I preferred season 1 because of how big the battles were. Here there's like kind of like small skirmishes, and I kind of mad that we don't have a King Canute in this season because I loved his character in season 1. But he's off fighting with the Wends, so he's kind of like out for this season. But it's still cool to see like the other characters like with their journeys. And yeah, Freydis, I liked her. I didn't like her as much, or her story as much in season 1. I felt like it was kind of boring, but here it's kind of like she stepped up and now she's becoming like a role model and a leader for these Vikings. And she's kind of like adopting this more open mind, I guess, because now she's realizing like the old ways kind of like are too conservative, I guess, for the Vikings now. And they kind of have to keep an open mind and be more open to like different ideas and stuff. And yeah, Leif, yeah, he's kind of like this nomad character this season, but he has this he shared this journey with Harold. So they go to Constantinople, and they kind of like it was cool because like they're like traveling through the Arctic. That's why I say like it was cool that we got to see like different locations. It feels like more diverse this season. But also I like the English characters as well, like Emma and Godwin. I like their kind of like combative like relationship. I felt so bad for Godwin this season. His girlfriend, that whole torture scene, I was like, oh damn. Yeah.
He reminds me, I keep calling this character in Game of Thrones Pigeon Eye for some reason. I forgot his name. What was the guy who's like Wasanza all the time?
Littlefinger. Or
yeah, he kind of reminds me of that. He's very like sneaky a little bit, and I think was he genuinely in love? Probably a little bit, right? But he's more concerned about himself. And that slipped too when they were torturing that girl, and she said that he wanted like a boy to be a king, like one of his boys to be the king or something.
It was
like
his
that.
dreams.
Yeah. So that's like, So I think we're gonna see a lot more. He probably will die. Watch, he's gonna die next season. I bet with you, because I didn't expect a certain character to die later on in the season. I was like, oh, you guys killed him, really?
I know.
Yeah, but that's Vikings for you.
Yeah, I like when he was like when Emma was like, "Oh, I'll see you in hell," and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll see you there too." Oh, I meant the wedding. I was just like, that's a little jab. I like the dialogue scenes in this show. It's really like well written. But yeah, speaking of other characters, like, what did you think of Olaf in the season 2?
Yeah, I love that actor. By the way, he plays those roles so good. Johannes Hakur. I'm butchering all these names too. That actor is so good. I actually really enjoyed his character in season 1. Right, he's just like a very annoying character, but he's got it right. He's somebody to contend with. I think it was funny because he was that's the thing about Vikings, is like everybody's sleeping with each other, especially the men, right? And so he was trying to get with Queen Eilfguf.
Canut's other wife.
Yeah, exactly. Played by Pollyanna McIntosh. I feel like I'm doing like a Rosetta Stone class. But she was in Walking Dead too, which was really cool. She was like the trash lady. So he was trying to get with her, and I actually felt like he was actually really bonding with that son. Knut's, I believe, his son or something like that. I felt like they were kind of like bonding a little bit. Like I felt like he had good intentions somehow.
I feel like he was kind of manipulating him too.
A little bit, yeah.
Because he wanted to instill like the Christian values into like the new generation. So that I think he was kind of like using, but there was kind of like a bond there. Like, I mean, he was left in charge of this, younger kid. And he was kind of doing what they were doing to Edmund in season 1, like grooming him, to be like this great leader.
Yeah.
But I did like that fight between him and Freydis. That was pretty cool.
At the end, yeah. And unfortunately, spoiler alert, guys, he dies in a very symbolic way. Yeah, that's the
shish
thing.
Kebabs.
Yeah, shish kebab. She got shish kebab. But basically, he died like in the kind of Christ pose with a spear in his side. But, that's the thing about Vikings, too. They're very cunning. I love seeing even like the boat thing and stuff. Like, I love seeing how they just try their best, right, with little tools they have. And at the end, I love how it's just her. It was like a one-man army, and she wiped out all the boats.
She had dragon fire for some reason.
She had dragon fire, yeah. Daenerys came down. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool fight. Again, this season was very like, I think it was more toxic in a way. It was very like in your face kind of. It was more like a setup. I think like next season is going to be really bombastic, and I think a lot of things at Constantinople is not going to be what they thought it would be. As for Freydis and that fight, I wonder who will tell that story too. I bet the son actually will talk about Freydis a little bit, and the rumor will spread, and she's like a foe that you cannot cross. So I think she's actually going to have more power probably than Leif and Harold and that section and Kattegat and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I wonder too how Harold's gonna take, the death of his brother, because he was. I mean, they were at odds with each other all the time, but they were still pretty close. So I wonder if that, wedges a divide between him and Freydis.
Yeah.
And Leif also, I wonder like what's in store for him, because like historically, I think he was like the first to discover like North America. So they kind of like sowed the seeds of that, and like he's kind of like interested in like navigation and like mathematics. So I thought that was pretty cool. So like I wonder if they'll like put like more historical elements into next season, like maybe he discovers like a new land or something.
Yeah, that's weird. And they keep us on our toes guessing, because in the old Vikings, I think it was, I forgot his name, it was like Sigurd or something like that actually they showed that he discovered North America or something with Loki. And in here, obviously in the historical accounts, it was Leif. And that's the cool thing. I think Leif is going to come out on top, because where Ragnar had the balls and he just went for it, Leif is very like, he's just gonna like think all the time, right?
Well, he's trying not to be like his father. He's trying to be like a cool, level-headed guy. Yeah, all the characters were great this season. Did you feel this season was stronger than season 1?
I really enjoyed season 1. I'm not gonna lie. This season, it felt very different. Both seasons felt different in its own right, but I felt like this season is definitely a ramp up. It's kind of like those ramping seasons where next season is going to be like, oh shit moments. So yeah, I think it was pretty cool. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I mean, I was surprised how much I actually like got invested in the show. Like I said, I'm like not like into those kind of like period piece type shows, but it was cool like to like the characters I thought like they were really you could get invested in them pretty easily. And yeah, I wonder like who will die next season, because there weren't too many deaths in this season, but maybe they're building up to something bigger for season 3. The battles felt smaller, but the choreography is still there. I love how they fight. You can really tell like they train their asses off, and Freydis is such a good like warrior too. Even like the production value, like I said, is like amazing. Like the ship designs, like they just feel like so authentic. Like you really feel like you're like immersed into like the Viking culture. But yeah, awesome season. I would love to see what they do for season 3, but if I had to rate the show, I'd probably give it 8 out of 10. How would you rate it?
You know what's funny? I actually would say the same thing. I think 8 out of 10, especially for this season. And I think Harold is going to die. That's my predictions. Wait until next season. We have a long ways to go to next season. But yeah, everybody, that is our review for Vikings Valhalla season 2. Now on Netflix, go check it out. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like and share it. It'll greatly help out the channel. Again, this is the start of our season 5. We have plenty of stuff coming your way, and we're excited to announce plenty of stuff a little bit later on. So any support that you give us will always help us out. So Dylan, please take us away.
Yeah, guys, we have so much content planned. You don't even know. So many new things coming to channel, new setting. I just moved recently to
Dubai right now. Sorry, guys.
I'm in a hotel somewhere, but yeah. Like Akram said, anything helps the channel. But yeah, of course you can watch us on YouTube, but we're also on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. You can check out our socials, which you'll see at the end card, for our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. But any support you guys can give us will definitely help the channel out, because we got so many great things planned for season 5. We want to give you guys so much new content. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.
Skull.
Skull. All right, let's go.